Hello, welcome to the Computer Workshop's YouTube channel. My name's Matthew First, instructor at the Computer Workshop. And in this video, what I'm going to do is give you some tips and tricks on security awareness that you should have implemented in your environment. Most people, when they think of security, they think it's just an IT problem, but security is everyone's responsibility. Your biggest vulnerability are your end users, and reason for that is they're the ones who use your system. So everyone has passwords. They're surfing the web, looking at URLs. They're receiving email. Potentially, they're bringing in devices into your environment. So what I'm going to look at is just some of the tips and tricks that you can use to hopefully make your environment a little bit more secure. So everyone has passwords, and managing passwords is the easiest thing and probably the most impactful thing that you can do when it comes to IT security and even your personal security at home, because everyone has accounts, has passwords out there. So some things that you want to keep in mind when setting up passwords is you should reset them every 3 months, 30 to 90 days. Again, usually what a lot of security documentation does recommend. Your password must haves, you should be mixing case, so there should be upper and lowercase characters. You should throw a number in there. Should have a special character like an exclamation point, the at symbol, hashtag, etc. Your password should be long, 9 to 16 characters, and they should not be in a dictionary. So don't use dictionary words or phrases because they make them easier to guess. Or with a lot of password cracking software, there's already a dictionary out there that they're going to try and use to break in. And one big thing is don't make exceptions for executives. A lot of cases, executives don't want the longer passwords because it's an inconvenience. But again, they have access to the most sensitive data in your organization. As far as URLs, train your employees to pay attention to the address bar and the status bar in their browsers, and they'll help hopefully quickly learn to identify fake websites out there. So some of the things that you want to make them aware of is the connection secure? So if we're using IE, or I'm sorry, Edge now from Microsoft, have them look to make sure that they are using an HTTP secure website. And if you click on the little triangle here, you can see the security information for the website. If you're using Google Chrome, again, have the same icon here. The padlock's a little bit different, but you want to make sure that you're using a secure website with SSL or TLS transport layer security. Other things that they need to look at is, does the URL make sense? Is it keybank.com credit card offer, or is it keybank.ru? And big thing is, tell your end users never trust a link in an email ever. If I ever get an email claiming it's from my bank with a link in it, I always go out, open up a web browser, and type in the URL into the web browser myself. I don't rely on links, so never trust a link in an email ever. And that gets us into email. So, bogus emails attempt to trick the user into the sense of comfort, security, legitimacy. So, again, you want to make sure that you're inspecting the email domains, look at the body content to detect phishing attacks. Some of the tips for email to identify a fake email address: if the domain is anything different than what you would have typed in to access from a search bar, it's more than likely bogus. Second, senders can use any name they like, so don't gauge the legitimacy of the email based on what you're finding in the address bar. So, for an example, there's been a bogus email going around claiming to be from the Federal Reserve. Well, if you take a look here at the email address, and you'll see this in whatever mail client you're using, it's postmaster at cndc.bo. Well, nope. If you take a look, it is, the Federal Reserve's URL that you would go to is different. And in most cases, the company's email address domain is going to match their URL domain. So what the user uses in a search bar or in the address bar of the browser is going to match what they see in the email. Other things to recognize for phishing attacks, anything that has urgency to it. So any email saying log in immediately, click here now, action require is probably bogus. Watch for wire transfer, receipt of payment. So before opening up an attachment or clicking on the link, call the sender to verify it is legitimate. Because again, you get this a lot during the Christmas time, something claiming to be from the UPS or Amazon saying, oh, yeah, there was a problem with your shipment, problem with your payment. It may or may not be from Amazon. And again, don't trust links in an email. Other things, uncharacteristic language. So if there's typos, an unusual tone, or the phrasing is just off, probably going to be a bogus email. Also, watch for emails that have multiple links in it. Most people, if they're going to send something, there's probably going to be one link down in the signature block to get you back to the company site. But if there's links littered throughout the email, probably a bogus email. Other things that you can do to secure your environment is looking at what types of devices are allowed to enter your network. So, are you doing BYOD, bring your own devices? That does open up a lot of potential security holes. So, you need to look at which ones are going to be allowed, which ones are not. And you should have policies for the ones that you do have. So, like one of the biggest devices, biggest vulnerability out there are USB drives. Should these should always be pre-tested in a segmented machine separate from the rest of your network. So even on a home network, if I'm going to test out a USB device, I have a system that I don't connect to my home Wi-Fi, so that when I plug it in, if there's a virus or a worm on it, it only infects that one system. It doesn't get everything in my house. And if this is a corporate environment, same thing. Other things, buy USB drives for your employees so they don't feel like they need to use free ones. Because again, where are they going to get the free ones from? Who knows what could be on it to begin with? Or just don't allow them at all. Nowadays, there's a lot of other ways of transferring data from one point to another, cloud services, network shares, things like that. And as an example, FBI, you'd think security is their thing. Well, they have a policy where, yeah, no USB drives there are specific drives that should be used in the environment. Well, they conducted an exercise where they left 10 USB drives in a parking lot. Half of them were plugged into FBI machines, even though FBI policy is, yeah, you don't do that. So even though we got this technology out there from our IT, we need to basically change human nature, and your employees are the biggest vulnerability. And like I said, FBI did the same test that you probably could do. And again, even though your company policy is don't allow USB drives that you don't know where they come from being plugged into corporate devices, someone's going to do it. So, hopefully, from this video, some of the takeaways is security is everyone's responsibility. So, hopefully, you got something out of this video. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like us on Facebook, and hopefully, I'll see you at some of the courses that we do offer in security. Thank you for your time.